Welcome to the Mile High Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Daniel Knowles. Thank you for joining us from wherever altitude you are. And we look forward to seeing you rising up your altitude to mile high altitude in just about a week, where it is going to be jam-packed with hundreds of chiropractic teams from around the world plugged into philosophy, vision, and strategy. Today, I am super grateful to introduce and have on this podcast episode Dr. Liam Schubel, who in very many ways is a catalyst, well, for many things in the chiropractic profession. He sparks many areas of people taking action, but a catalyst for Mile High overall. And we'll talk about that. And as you know, he's been a guest on the podcast numerous times, as well as at Mile High since its inception. That being said, a little bit about Dr. Liam. He is truly a chiropractic ambassador to the world. He actually runs the Latin America Chiropractic Consulate. His office is in South America. And his first book, Cast by Chiropractor, is legendary at this point, as well as his book, Gold, and his book, The Schubel's Holy Grail of Business. Are all classics and should be on people's must-read list. If people don't have them, I'm sure you'll be able to find out here how to get them during the course of this podcast. And his Schübel Vision Elite program is phenomenal. I'm a member of that, and I'm grateful to be gained so many pearls from that. So once you listen to this podcast, you're going to be reminded of how much you want to hit subscribe so you never miss any Mile High tip. With that being said, let's get the show on the road. Welcome to the podcast, Dr. Liam Schubel.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Daniel Knowles. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm honored to have you hosting the program today. It's going to be a fantastic program. I just want to make one clerical note.
Yes.
The book Gold was actually written by my good friend, Dr. Judd O'Grady, and I agree. That should be on everyone's shelf. I got to tell you, when I read Keeping It Simple by Joe Strauss, the book about Reggie Gold's life, I thought that was phenomenal. But Gold is the book, like, authorized by Irene Gold about the Golds, and what an inspiring story that is. So great. Thanks for mentioning it, because I don't hear it mentioned too often on podcasts, and it really should be in everybody's library. You want to be inspired about chiropractic, get that book Gold for sure. Of course, you mentioned Cast to Be Chiropractors, the end all be all of the mindset of success in chiropractic, and then Schubel's Holy Grail of Business, the how-to. How do you make the chiropractic business become successful? And this is written by someone who now, we just opened, Danny, a few months ago, our office number 24. So we continue to grow and we continue to expand. And I have to tell you, there's no let up, because there is no lack of. I remember going to D and hearing about the crying, dying, sighing world. Rob Schiffman used to talk about that. And we have it more now than ever. Okay, we have the most drugs of all time. Some of them are being mandated even, right? And we have the worst health of history. People, sure, they're living longer because of basic sanitation and emergency medicine. But as far as maintaining an optimal life expression, man, we are in pobreza, as they say in Spanish. We are in poverty mode. So there's never been a time where people need what we have now, and all we have to do is learn what it is that we have. What is it that we do? What's unique? What's our unique selling proposition in chiropractic? What's our objective that's unique? What's our unique marketing differentiation standpoint? And then how to communicate that, and then apply the business systems to make it all work in the environment in which we live in today. And I got to tell you, we're going to start living in what I call a chiropractic utopia. And there's so many components that we can unpack of that, Dr. Danny Knowles, and happy to do that with you in this time that we have today.
Dr. Liam, that is truly amazing. 24 offices, and also 3 books. I know Judd O'Grady's book, but it was all part of the Schübel Vision, and it all starts with vision. Here's the thing that's important that a lot of people don't realize. Your success as a chiropractor is crucial, in your words, to the transformation and evolution of the planet, correct? And the bigger the vision, the bigger the life. Well, because of all of that impact that you have on people's lives, and also abundant success in offices, you employ lots of chiropractors and staff and have more people's spines checked than you could on your own. And you're able to make an impact on the profession for the positive in the world of politics and education.
Well, yes, Danny. I mean, here's the thing. You're right. I often say the bigger the vision, the bigger the life. And the vision that I have for the planet is a world where every man, woman, and child on the planet has the potential or the opportunity to be checked for vertebral subluxation and adjusted when necessary from birth. So that's a gigantic vision. That's gigantic because we're at what, 7 billion, 8 billion and growing. So every day there's more and more population that needs to have their nervous system fully expressing itself, fully optimized. And so there's a lot of work for us to do. And when you break that down into, okay, how are we going to make this happen? Because if the vision is just something we say at a Spiz Fest in a seminar, and then we go home and don't do anything about it, well, then that's all it is. It's just talking points, and it's things that never get done. And it's, oh, hey, I'm inspired, and then nothing ever happens. And, I often look at, Danny, you and I are not going to be on this planet, most likely, in another 100 years. Like, we really only have a short period of time to be here. And we've been given these tremendous gifts during the course of our lifetime in chiropractic. I think of so many chiropractors that said chiropractic saved their life. Chiropractic saved their children's lives. We think about what would our life be like. I remember my son, when he was like 5 years old, he got adjusted and he had a killer C1 subluxation. And he said, man, Dad, if you weren't a chiropractor, how long would I have lived with that? And, been expressing less than optimal. So just that in itself, going to chiropractic college and learning how to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation. I'll never forget when I learned that, I said, wow, I mean, I am empowered now to not only improve the quality of the world, but also earn a living and take care of my family like I couldn't do before when I had no skills. So it's a tremendous skill that we have. But, that skill is not enough. In order to bring to fruition this vision, we have to be working diligently in so many other factors of society. And, I often break that down into the education, chiropractic education, chiropractic politics, and chiropractic scientific study. We need more chiropractic research. We need more chiropractic educational institutions of a high quality. And the ones we have to ensure they're the highest quality. And then in chiropractic politics, we need to be having an interaction or a conversation or an interchange with those people that control the world through politics. And, I used to look when I was a young man into politics as a game that we could never get involved in. That's for the elite of the society. And I think that misperception is what has brought the world to such a crisis point as where it is. And what a lot of people don't know is that the common man can get involved in politics. And actually, the common man can revolutionize the political system, but it ends with apathy. And I would say, the complaints that we have about chiropractic education, oh, they're not teaching chiropractic philosophy in the school. Oh, they're not teaching chiropractic technique very well in the schools. They're not teaching chiropractic science in the schools. That could be terminated if the apathy terminates from the profession. Same thing in chiropractic politics. We can have whatever we want if we stop being apathetic about what it is that we want. There's a difference between saying I want something and then actually bringing that something into fruition. There's so many people that talk every single day about what they want. I want more money. Well, here's $1. You got more money. Are you happy now? You have to be specific about what it is that you want. You have to be determinant about what you're willing to sacrifice, because it is going to take sacrifice to bring about what it is that we want. Fact. And then you have to be willing to take the action steps to bring about what it is that you want. So, and that's going to require us then to define what are the action steps we're going to take in politics, what the action steps we're going to take in the educational process, and what action steps we're going to take to support research. And I think if we do that as a total in the profession, it's not one person changing the world. It's this unified movement of everybody doing a little bit and bringing their specific gifts and talents to the overall objective. And that is to bring more chiropractic to more people so that the world can express itself more optimally. I mean, I think about just the other day, there was that shooting, I think it was yesterday, in the schools. And I'm saying, I saw a picture of that guy and I'm saying, man, imagine if he had been checked and adjusted from birth. What would the world look like today if that person had gone another route than the route that he was on during the course of his life? I mean, it's in our face every single day. What would Putin be like if he was checked and adjusted from birth? You know, what would Biden be like if he was checked and adjusted from birth? Imagine that we have the power of chiropractic to bring optimal expression to all these people. And I'm talking about optimal, not just optimal physical capability, but emotional and a spiritual. You know, you think about Dee Dee Palmer talked about that, you know, we reconnect the spiritual man with the physical man. And you say, man, if the spiritual man and the physical man was connected today, and Danny, you posted something great the other day. It was like, your soul will lead you, you know, follow your soul. It will, you know, follow your soul's mission, right? That's exactly, you can't follow it if you're disconnected from it, because the vertebral subluxation is squeezing on the brainstem and impeding that mental impulse from flowing from above down, inside out, and allowing you to express yourself optimally. And that's a big idea. And that's the biggest idea I know. And it's the idea that I frankly, it's such a big work that we have to do, but I don't get tired, because the end result, you think about it today, Dr. Danny Knowles. I mean, imagine with all the lives you've impacted over the course of your life, and Rochelle is impacted, and myself, just from being on this planet and applying our gifts. It's not that we're gifted, we're something special. We just made a choice, a conscious choice to give back those gifts that we've received, to help optimize, more people optimize the world. We got to build this great unified force that can really optimize the planet as we know it. But it all starts with knowing what you want, what you're willing to sacrifice, and taking specific action steps, just little baby steps every single day to move forward. If we all do this together, and I think that's frankly, I think that's what Mile High is all about. And I think that's why we've, we come together every single year to share all those different perspectives, all those different gifts, and then develop different action steps that we're going to take during the course of the year to bring about a new reality. And that's what I love seeing. You know, this whole thing about the Matrix this time is, you know, we're bringing about, and I've seen it happen. We're bringing about a new reality every time as more and more people step out of the Matrix. You know, we bring about this. You know, I think of all the people that I've seen at Mile High, all the people that I've seen go from poverty conscious to abundance conscious. All these people that go from, you know, not sure if this is really for them, the students, not sure if chiropractic is really for me. You know, the school's kind of difficult. I lost my way. You know, I've lost my passion. I've lost my inspiration, and then leave there with a new experience, and then listening to their stories. I love listening to their stories the next year. You know, I always meet new faces and we interact. And then I ask them, you know, what is it that you received during this Mile High? And what is it that you're going to put into practice? And then to listen to them a year later and see how their lives have transformed, it's just the coolest thing, because it's not just about their life. I think about all the lives that they're going to be impacting during the course of the year, because they've been empowered to serve at a higher level, to give at a higher level, to love at a higher level, to inspire at a higher level. And I think that's what Mile High is all about. It's not a judgment party. It's a family that we all are different. We all have different perspectives, different techniques, different philosophies, but we all get together with one objective, and that is to improve ourselves so that we can improve our services, so that we can improve the optimal expression of this planet. And it's the biggest idea I know. And I'm so thankful for you, Dr. Daniel Knoll, because I know how much you sacrifice every year to bring this thing together. You and Rochelle, I'm so thankful for you guys to put this together every year, because it really is, it's that safe space that anyone can come into and leave with something that's tremendously valuable that they can immediately apply into their lives. It's not just a Spiz Wizard event. You'll get a lot of Spiz, you'll get a lot of excitement, but you'll also get a lot of very specific tips, tools, and strategies that you could apply, and then we can celebrate next year and see how far you've come. And you're going to be surprised at how far you really can come. You are just probably, each and every one of you are just living a tenth of what your possibility is, even if at that. And if you get around high producing individuals and high powerful individuals at this event, it's just going to bring you up. It's going to rise the tide for everyone. I got to tell you, I rise up when I go there. I sit in that front row and I listen and I take notes and I apply because I get different perspectives. And that is, I often say, BJ Palmer would say, whenever you think you're ripe, that's when you start to rot. And I'm not into rotting yet. So I'm going to be into this Kaizen movement where I think that I can always be improving. And that's what I see at Mile High. There's always a different perspective. I'm looking forward to hearing a lot of these speakers that I've never heard before, because I know they're killing it. And I say that in a loving way, right? They're actually optimizingly expressing it, right? I can't wait to see that. Because I know that's going to I'll be able to bring that information back into my 24 practices and open up more and improve the quality, because those are the two things I ask every single day of my life. Number one, how can I see more people? How can I help more people? And number two, how can I serve the people I'm already serving today better? If those are the two questions, one of my mentors, Donnie Epstein, used to say, the quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. Start asking those two questions. And if those two questions are on your mind, well, then you need to be at Mile High, because you're going to get the answers to those questions, just like I will. How can I see more people and how can I serve them better? That's the key to abundance. Just keep thinking about those people. Keep thinking about the people. They'll keep thinking about you. Keep thinking about the people. They'll think about you. And that's what we're going to get. We're going to get a bigger idea of just how important what it is we're doing as chiropractors, and how to be more effective at delivering the phenomenal service that we give in chiropractic.
I am so glad you spoke about vision. And also thank you so much for sharing your experience at Mile High and its contributions it's made to your life and your practices. The vision part, our vision, every man, woman, and child experiencing life through a healthy nerve system. That would be a different world if everybody experienced their life experiences through a properly optimized nerve system, for most certainly. And that's not the current state of affairs. Here's the thing. A lot of people will grumble about chiropractic education or grumble about politics, or why is the WFC doing this or that? Or why do I owe so much money and didn't learn this in school, or some things like that. However, their vision doesn't line up with changing that. So their vision may be, I just got to get enough people here to pay my mortgage or pay for my car, right? And that's not a very big vision. And it doesn't fuel you being able to contribute to change about the things that you want to change. So how do people expand? First of all, why is politics important? Why is it important that they expand their vision beyond the four walls of their office?
Because, Danny, and it's a very good question, it's a crucial question, is because everything that you love, yes, you watching this program right now, you think about anything in your life that you love. And I learned this in New Jersey a couple years ago. I was never involved in politics. I had never been down to the Capitol building in my state. I could care less about politics. Politics was for the dirty people. Why get involved? It makes no difference. And one day they told me your religious exemption to vaccination in order for your kids to attend public school was going to be terminated. And as they used to say on that old television program, Different Strokes, I said, what you talking about, Willis? That ain't going to happen on my watch. And so all of a sudden I got involved in politics, and now I'm running for office, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be elected again. I'll be reelected. But by the way, at a low level, I'm at a low level, but I will tell you this. I'm on something called county committee right now, and I hope to be reelected. Did you ever go to the ballot box and say, both candidates suck, right? The Democrat and the Republican, they both suck. Well, that's because the county committee who picks that, half of those positions, it's like chiropractic, half of those positions are empty. They're empty. Nobody's there. You know why? Because everybody's apathetic. I don't care about politics. So can you imagine how we could transform the political system if every single chiropractor in this country was on a county committee position? Now get this. So let me be clear. The county committee, they're the people who elect who goes on to the ballot.
Wow.
How big is that? So in other words, this is what we've started to do in the People's Republic of New Jersey. All these health freedom advocates and chiropractors are getting on the county committee. And then what happens is every politician, they want to get on the ballot, right? So
Right.
who do they have to schmooze with? Who do they have to assure that they're going to support their positions? Us. So now all of a sudden health freedom went to something that's for the wacko fruit and nut crowd to I better pay attention to the county committee, those health and fruit nuts, because they're the people that are going to allow me to be on the ballot. Huge. And that's what people don't know. People think, oh, it's just the president. I can't be president. I can't be a senator. I can't be a congressman. Yeah, maybe you can't be, but you could determine. I mean, can you imagine this power? As a county committee, you can determine if your senator is even on the ballot. He has to come to you to be on the ballot. So if he has to come to you to be on the ballot, is he going to be concerned about what your interests are as a health freedom practitioner? You better believe it. You better believe it. And so this is it. I often say, right? We say this about our patients. They suffer because of ignorance. If they knew what we knew, they would do what we do, right? Well, it's the same thing in politics. You are suffering with this current ignorance, and that's causing this United States of America and whatever country you are in the world to dominate you with baloney instead of you dominating it with common sense, logic, integrity, and freedom. And that's where we can start. And I'm going to bring a part of that message probably to Mile High because, again, just as chiropractors, you think about how many chiropractors there are just in the United States. If every single, I'm going to tell you, there's 400,000 county committee positions in the United States of America. 200,000 of them are empty. That means, Danny, if you went down to your local precinct or your local county committee and said, hey, I'd like to be on, no problem. There's nobody running for that position. You're on, Danny. Great. You know, so it's like, that's how difficult it is. And then people say, well, I don't have much time. You know what I have to do? I have to vote once or twice a year. That's all I have to do. Can you do that? I think I can if it's going to transform the political system. Ignorance. That's why people suffer. And so, again, I love the opportunity to bring politics to Mile High. And by the way, not from a position of be a Republican or be a Democrat. I'm not there to fight Republican, Democrat. I'm there to say, because even if you're a Democrat, right? Like, because I'm a Republican, right? Even if you're a Democrat, being on county committee, they have their own county committee. You could choose Democratic, people to get elected or be on the ballot that are pro-health freedom. But you have to take action. You have to educate yourself. And so that's, again, it's that awareness. It's that consciousness. You know, I was working with some of my chiropractic associates the other day, and we were videotaping, as you know, because you're in the Schübel Vision Elite program, we were videotaping their performance, with their day one, their day two, their x-ray report. And when I was giving them feedback, they couldn't believe what they were saying and what they weren't saying. And they had asked me to look at that because they couldn't grow their practice. They were having a tough time. They had been up and then they had fallen off. They had slid downhill. BJ talked about slipping and checking. And when we went through that video, I said, look, it's so great that you did this video because you have to be conscious first of what it is that's going on. Now you're conscious of what you're saying, of what you're doing, how you're saying it, how you're doing it. Now let's work on that. And they called me up. That was a week ago. They called me up this week and they're like, Doc, I just can't believe these simple things have totally transformed. We're on the grow again. And it's like, that's how everything is in your life. You have to be conscious first. And so Mile High is going to be the center of chiropractic consciousness so that we're going to become aware, right? That's your first step of the thing, awareness, right? We got to have awareness. And then once we're aware, we can develop better strategies, right? To get the objectives that we want and develop different systems to make that happen. So we're going to make you more aware about what's going on in your practice from an economic standpoint. We're going to make you more aware on what's going on in your profession. And we're going to make you more aware of what's going on in politics. Because if we're not more aware of politics, everything I mentioned before, your practice, your family's freedom, your healthcare choices, all that can be taken away from you. You either control the political system and take charge, of your life, or you stay apathetic and you let somebody else control it. But then you got to deal with the consequences of that. And I learned my lesson. I spent too much time, Danny, outside the state capitol in Trenton in 25, 30-degree weather, banging on the doors of my representatives saying, hell no, this is not going to happen. And I can tell you, we went from being wackos, being considered wackos, to politicians now seeking us out for advice on what their positions should be and how to develop these laws and how to protect. Imagine this. They're asking us, how can we better protect your rights? That's what they were there in the first place for. That's what the Constitution was set up. The whole government exists to protect our rights, not to destroy our rights.
Right.
But we've let that happen because we're not acting consciously. And this is what we're going to raise the consciousness here at Mile High. And I'm so excited about it. And again, so grateful and thankful for you and Rochelle to consistently put on such a great program.
And I'm glad you went on this direction, because people need to understand that. And yes, Dr. Liam is talking about your local government politics. There's also politics of the profession. Truly, Mile High is a kick-ass event with kick-ass speakers, but we did this because it was vital to kick-ass of chiropractors to get politically involved. By being politically involved from Mile High, it spurred their brain to be, in heart and soul, to pay attention to chiropractic politics as to what's going on in your state board. And wow, do you realize what regulations are getting put on you as a practitioner that might even not allow you to practice? And there are things like the WFC, for example, are doing that are outrageous and affected education. So people have to, I heard when I was just graduated at a Patrick Chintempo program, and he talked about being involved in politics and how vital it was. Otherwise, you were going, and I never thought about it until then, how vital it was. Otherwise, it's going to control your practice. How important it is to be involved in chiropractic politics?
Well, two things, Danny. First of all, I will say, again, just to follow up on how important general politics is. Right now, I'm friends with some of the top candidates for governor for this next election. So can you imagine if all of a sudden I'm good friends with the governor of a state, when they look to appoint, I just don't know if you know this, they appoint, I think you do, they appoint the chairman or chairwoman of the chiropractic board. Hi, right. I'm one of your best friends and greatest supporters. I think I'd like to be on the board of chiropractic examiners. Okay, let's transform things now. Right? Schubel's in charge. This is going to be another, turn things around event. And that's how easy it happens. It's a struggle at first, right? But once you learn the game, then you're in the game and then you dominate the game. So that's one thing. You mentioned chiropractic politics, and I want to lead you down the rabbit hole of where we are in chiropractic. You're not even going to believe this. I know you will, Danny, because you're aware of it, but most people watching this right now can't even imagine. So we've just gone through 2 years or plus of a total debauchery set forth by the World Health Organization, the WHO, and initiated in this country by the CDC and the FDA. There is a movement now to remove our sovereignty for making decisions in healthcare in the United States and give that up to the World Health Organization, which of course anybody in their right mind would be against. Did you know?
Insane.
Did you know that the World Federation of Chiropractic has gone on record to saying that they support the objectives of the World Health Organization? In other words, they want to be more in alignment with the World Health Organization. Instead of fighting them, they're joining them. And that is absolutely insane. And a lot of people don't know this. I'm fascinated, Danny, by some of the leaders, the principal leaders in our organization. They are members of organizations that give money to the World Federation of Chiropractic. I mean, how insane is that? Would you be a member of an organization that gave money to the World Health Organization? No, you want to, I thought it was great. What, Trump did whatever. He did some bad things, some good things, just like anybody else. But I thought it was the greatest thing when he removed funding from the World Health Organization. I'm like, finally, somebody who gets common sense. Well, there are people right now that are giving and supporting the World Federation of Chiropractic, and they want to be in line. They want to be a lapdog to the World Health Organization. And so when are we going to say enough is enough and say, no, we're not supporting that? And I tell you, there's so much ego in the profession. It's like, well, I'm in this organization because BJ started it. I'm like, well, now BJ's organization is supporting the World Health Organization. Are you still a part of? I mean, how does that make any logical sense whatsoever? Well, we're going to change it from in. You've been having that strategy for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and the change within strategy, it's not working. We have to, like Bucky Fulminster said, we have to bring about a new system when the system fails, not work within a failed system. We got to bring about a new system. That's the power of chiropractic. That's what BJ Palmer and DD Palmer wanted to do. They didn't want to become a part of medicine and try to change it. They said from the outset, we are separate and distinct and unabashed, and we are going to bring about a system that's going to transform and evolutionize the world and the healthcare system as we know it. Where did that die along the line? Where did it become more about the history of chiropractic and less about the actual practical application of the principles of chiropractic? And that's why I am a big supporter. And I really love a lot of the things the IFCO, the International Federation of Chiropractors and Organizations, are doing right now. I got to tell you, under the leadership of their president, Grant Dennis, right now, they are moving forward and they're building bridges, and they're moving into Europe. They are moving into Australia, not with a message of, we're going to join the objectives of the WHO, not with that insanity. They're moving along with the objective is, everything you don't like about chiropractic is brought about by chiropractic politics. So we're going to change that. How does that sound? Let's change it, and let's change it together. So again, little baby step, little action step. You don't have to be on the front lines. Join the IFCO today. Join the IFCO, the International Federation of Chiropractors and Organizations. Leave the organizations that are supporting the World Federation of Chiropractic. And if you don't know what organizations are supporting the World Federation of Chiropractic, contact me, reach out directly, and I'll get you that information. You'll be surprised, a lot of you people. You'll be surprised who's supporting the World Federation of Chiropractic. That says their principle, that says they're for objective chiropractic or traditional chiropractic. It's absolute insanity. And we got to change it, and we can change it, and we are changing it. Get on board and let's make this thing bigger. Let's be unified. Everyone says, hey, we have to have more unification in the profession. Agreed. Unification around an objective, not unification around a name with different objectives. We got to identify what is the objective of chiropractic: detection, analysis, and adjustment of vertebral subluxation. Sure, you can have other stuff in your office, but it's not chiropractic, and that's okay if that's what you're happy with, right? We're not telling you how to practice, but what we are saying is that chiropractic is one and only one thing, and that is the detection, analysis, and adjustment of vertebral subluxation. And that is the thing that's going to transform and evolve this planet. And that is the thing that the IFCO, the International Federation of Chiropractors and Organizations, has to ensure stays alive in the legislative component, in the political component, and in the scientific and educational component. It's vital. So you can make a little step in this progress right now, and that is join that group. Imagine if the IFCO was incredibly well-funded. Imagine what we could do with those finances. You don't have to lead it, but you have to fund it. And it's not that much when you consider what the value of what you're doing in the chiropractic profession today is, and that all that could be taken away from you. I always get the phone calls, Danny, from around the world is, oh my God, they're taking away my license. Oh my God, they're shutting down my practice. I'm like, oh my God, where were you when I asked you to be a part of the IFCO? Now you want to come to the IFCO and say, hey, can you save us? Right? Where were you before? Let's be let's not take the medical approach, the mechanistic approach. Wait till everything's failing and then try to treat that condition. Let's be preventative in this, and let's set the standard for what chiropractic is going to be from here on in the future. There's so much potential, and you need to be a part of it and get to Mile High so you can get together with these like-minded people who are changing the world.
Again, such brilliance, such importance, and to wake people up, because you have to think of something bigger than yourself. Chiropractic, you stated this so well, Liam, and I'm going to echo it. is a disruptive technology. It was not meant to be, let's fit in and hold the status quo for healthcare and values. It was separate and distinct and be a political disruptive technology to the value system. People fitting in, like what the WFC wants to do with the World Health Organization, is, as Donnie Epstein would teach, it's an energy neutral position. We want to just fit in so people like us, and we'll get the crumbs from the table, but we'll be happy and comfortable. Comfort can be seductive. And what has to happen if there's going to be growth, if there's going to be movement forward, if there's going to be change, there has to be discomfort, a lack of comfort, and rock the boat rather than keep things status quo. And that is what chiropractic has as a main message.
Danny, you know, the failed strategy of chiropractic political leaders up until this point has been, we have to have a seat at the table or we're going to be on the menu. It's better to have a seat at the table or to be on the menu, right? I say this, let's turn their table over and uproot it, and let's create a bigger and better table for the chiropractic profession. I mean, we deserve it. What is this idea that we have to settle for table scraps? We deserve the absolute best. We're chiropractors. We're the only doctors in the world that are highly trained to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation. And because of that, we are crucial to the evolution and transformation of the world, because we allow everyone's innate potential to express itself optimally through the nerve system. It's huge. It's the biggest idea I know. And each of us can play a crucial role in bringing that about. But we have to get involved in the politics. We have to get involved in the research. We have to get involved in the educational system. And we've got to get involved in the business systems for our own practices so that we can share a level of abundance back into those things that I mentioned before.
Vital. And I hope this is a wake-up call for some people that they, A, become a member of the IFCO if they're not, or up their donation level if they are, support a chiropractic school and align with chiropractic values, maybe, for example, as a Sherman Regent or some other way of doing that, and be involved with your state organization or state board because they are needing people to help them, and the people that are volunteering to be on state or organization state boards tend to be focused on your destruction in terms of the way you practice, in terms of the foundational values and principles of chiropractic. And, you know, that's been a driving force for Mile High. I know you're well aware of that and why a lot of changes happened in the state of Colorado. Liam, so absolutely brilliant to share that and get people on the direction of focus on their vision increasing so that they can have greater impact, not only on the lives of the people that are on their tables, but also on in their community. And as you stated, and to echo this, if you hope this inspires you to at least become a member of the IFCO, or up your donation if you're already a member, or support a chiropractic college, donate to a chiropractic college, one aligned with the principles, get involved with your state board, get involved with your state organization, and make change locally in your backyard. A lot has come out of Mile High because we got people conscious of what's going on in our state, and we decided to clean up our backyard, right? And so you can make small steps like that and know that as your practice grows and as you make more contributions, the universe is going to feel you being more successful, because, you know, as you're giving, you never outgive the giver. Right? You never outgive the giver. So we look forward to seeing everybody at Mile High. And not only will you get great content, you'll expand your vision, get great strategies, and you'll also be fueled to be able to know you want to make a bigger difference in your community. So Dr. Schubel, thank you so much for being part of the Mile High podcast. We can't look forward more to seeing you on higher ground in just a few days.
Thank you, Dr. Danny Knowles. I appreciate the opportunity to share some time with you. And I also want to tell anybody who's planning on attending, it's going to be a great investment on your part. please pull me aside. Sometimes people are, feel a little uncomfortable pulling me aside and asking me practice questions or stuff. I live for this. I love this. I love to watch you grow through the course of the year. So pull me aside. Sometimes it takes a few drinks for someone to pull me aside, but they pull me aside and, let's get all your questions answered and let's move you to higher ground. And again, thank you, Dr. Danny Knowles, Dr. Rochelle Knowles, for putting on such a phenomenal event. I look forward to seeing you all there, and let's move to a higher level together.
Thank you. Thank you. We look forward to seeing everybody. And remember, if for some reason you're watching this, you have not registered for Mile High yet, drop everything, rise up to milehigh.com, rise up your altitude, and we'll see you there, and mark it on your calendar each year. Thank you again, Dr. Schubel, and everyone. Keep changing spines and lives and minds with chiropractic.